Welcome, everyone, to the Kenya Wantam Nota Movement podcast. You might know us as KWM. Today, we're doing a deep dive, really getting into the power of unity, of collective action. And we're looking at it through the lens of this really powerful new movement in Kenya. Our main source is an article from their website, wantamnocum.com. It's got a pretty direct title, Why Kenyans Must Work Together as One Team or Keep Losing. So our mission really is to unpack that, to look at the arguments about why, genuine teamwork crossing tribal lines is maybe the only way forward for Kenya, and importantly, how ordinary people, how you can actually get involved and make a difference.
Absolutely. And what strikes me is while this is rooted in Kenya, the message itself, it's universal, is the core idea that big national problems need united national solutions. That applies almost anywhere you look. So this deep dive, it's not just about Kenya. It's kind of a shortcut to understanding these big challenges and, maybe more importantly, some fresh, actionable ways to think about solutions.
Right, a framework. So the article kicks things off with a really bold statement. It just says, no tribe has ever fixed Kenya alone. That's quite a claim. What's the thinking behind that?
It is bold, yeah. But the article argues it's based on, well, historical observation within Kenya. It points out that whenever there's been a major breakthrough, think politics, sports, even social progress, it's come from different groups working together, cross-county teamwork, not from one tribe or one region trying to go it alone. The logic is pretty clear. Kenya's problems are national, and so must be the solutions.
So it's saying these problems are just too big, too interconnected for any one group.
Exactly. Complex challenges, they just don't respect those lines we draw on maps or the cultural lines. The article puts it very simply. Divided efforts sink. United efforts build. It's less a slogan and more like an observation of how things work. Unity provides leverage that fragmented efforts just can't match.
Okay, that makes sense. Then it moves into why this unity is so necessary, connecting it to shared experience, specifically shared pain. It argues that bad governance affects every tribe equally. Can you elaborate on that? How does it illustrate that point?
Yeah, it gets very concrete here. It says, look, bad governance hits your pocket, your school, and your hospital the same way. It stresses that things like corruption or inflation, they're impartial. Corruption doesn't care about your surname. Inflation doesn't ask your native language. It's presented as this common burden, something that should, theoretically, unite people because everyone's experiencing it.
So it transcends those divisions because the impact is universal.
Precisely. And it paints a pretty stark picture of how corruption plays out. It says it destroys every county. It talks about money meant for, say, a hospital in Turkana, or school supplies in Garissa, or roads in Baringo.
Right.
That money gets diverted. It doesn't build up those communities. Instead, the article claims it ends up funding villas in Karen, apartments in Dubai. And the critical point it makes is the thieves don't steal for their tribes. They steal for themselves. So the suffering, the lack of services, that's national. It hits everyone.
That's a powerful way to frame it. And it seems the article connects this not just to big government issues, but everyday life, too, like finding work.
Yes, absolutely. It brings it right down to the personal level. It says, jobs don't care about your last name. Unemployment isn't a tribal issue, it argues. It's a national one. And getting ahead, finding work, often comes down to your network, your ability to collaborate, to work in a team, not your ethnicity.
So tribe won't save you from unemployment. Teamwork will. Collaborations will. That's the message there.
That's the core message, yeah. And it draws a parallel with healthcare, too. The description is quite grim, actually. It says, hospitals fail everyone, not just a tribe.
How so?
Well, it talks about broken machines, medicines disappearing, nurses striking. The consequences are the same for everybody. Everyone waits, everyone suffers, everyone pays. There's no special cue based on your background when the system itself is failing.
So healthcare collapse is a national crisis, affecting everyone.
That's exactly the point it drives home. It's a shared national burden.
Okay, so if the problems are shared and the pain is shared, the article must then address why people aren't uniting. What does it identify as the barrier?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. It directly confronts the issue of internal conflict. It states very plainly, your neighbor is not the enemy.
Okay, so who is the enemy, according to the source?
Well, it argues that blaming each other is what corrupt politicians want. It's a distraction. While communities are busy fighting over what it calls tribal scraps, cartels, insiders, and political cronies are feasting in silence. It's presented as a deliberate strategy.
A divide and conquer tactic.
Precisely. Division is their tool to stay in power. By keeping people focused on fighting each other, attention is diverted from the real issues, the systemic corruption.
So it's a call to kind of wake up and see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Stop the infight.
Exactly. Stop fighting each other and recognize the shared struggle against the systems that benefit from that very division. Channel that energy outwards, not inwards.
So given all this diagnosis, what's the prescription? What's the path forward, according to the article?
It's very direct. It says, teamwork is survival, not a choice.
Yeah.
It argues that if communities, youth groups, ideas, if they don't cross those barriers, then the cycle just continues. Failure continues, loud, painful, daily.
Okay, survival, not a choice. That's strong. But how? Does it offer practical steps? It's easy to say unite, but harder to do.
And that's the strength of the article, I think. It gets very practical. It says, don't think huge movements immediately. Start small. Your friends are a power base. Start there. Use your existing social circles.
Okay, that's manageable.
Yeah, and it uses a great analogy. If you can plan a wedding or a birthday, you can plan a community project. It grounds the idea in everyday experience.
I like that. It demystifies it a bit. So start small with people you know. What else?
It emphasizes the power of focus. Small action groups can beat big problems. Forget endless petitions, it suggests. Think about focus groups, maybe monitoring county budgets, demanding better local services, pushing for cleaner clinics.
Real, tangible goals.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. You don't need thousands. You need 5 committed people. Just a small, dedicated group can make a real impact.
5 people. That really lowers the barrier to entry, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And linked to that is the idea that action beats talking every time.
The classic problem of endless discussion groups.
Right. Ideas stuck in WhatsApp groups change nothing. Movement does. It's a call for actual physical steps. Organize meetups. Call for action. Share tools and strategies. Build momentum on the ground, not just online.
Okay, so action focus, starting small. This seems to lead into the core philosophy of the movement itself, Wantam Notum.
Yes, it all ties into their acronym,
Right.
TEAM.
Which stands for?
Together, everyone achieves more. But the article stresses this isn't just a nice phrase. It's presented as the practical method for how you build safer towns, cleaner markets, and better schools. It's about that grassroots, collective effort delivering results.
And it seems there's a strong element of personal responsibility here, too.
Immense. There's a really powerful line. Waiting for someone else to lead? Forget it. Nobody is coming. You are already here.
Wow. That's quite the challenge.
It is. It's basically saying, stop waiting. The power, the agency, it's already with you, with your community. Take ownership. You are the leader you've been waiting for.
That directly counters the feeling of helplessness that can creep in. But what about online activities? So much activism happens online now.
The article addresses that head on. It's quite critical, actually. It says, social media rants change nothing without real work.
Ouch. Direct.
Very. It argues that tweets don't clean streets, TikTok videos don't build clinics, comments don't pay school fees. The call is for tangible action.
Yeah.
Meet, organize, do something real, and then maybe share the results of that real work online. Show the wins.
Okay, so real-world action first, and this is where the website comes in, wantamnotam.com.
Exactly. It's positioned as the hub for this action, the place where big thinkers take real action. They call it a digital playground for big ideas, but with a very specific focus on being constructive.
Constructive how?
It explicitly states, no insults, no tribal politics, just fresh thinking from everyday Kenyans. It's meant to be a space for solutions, not just complaints.
A space for doers, not abusers, as the article puts it.
Precisely. The ethos is strict. No insults, no tribal slurs, no hate. Because, as they argue, real change comes from facts, ideas, and plans, not from tearing each other down online.
So it's trying to foster a different kind of online environment focused on positive action.
That seems to be the goal, yeah. A dedicated space for building, for planning, for sharing actionable ideas.
This has been a really insightful look into the KWM philosophy and the arguments in that article. It really lays out a case for unity based on shared problems and proposes a very grounded, action-oriented path forward. It moves from identifying the problem division to proposing a solution rooted in teamwork, starting small, and taking personal responsibility. And now really is the time to connect with that. If this resonates with you, if you see the logic in shared action, we strongly encourage you. Visit www.wantamnotam.com. That's WANTAM, ANO, TAM.com. Go there, Create your account, start sharing your own ideas, ideas that you think can help change your village, your city, maybe even the whole nation. It really is positioned as the place where big thinkers take real action. So just to recap the core message we've unpacked today, the future really does seem to hinge on people recognizing they're in the same boat. Choosing unity, using collective action over division seems critical, not just in Kenya, but anywhere facing similar challenges. And that line from the source just sums it up so well. No tribe can fix Kenya alone, but together we can. It's powerful stuff. And it leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? Given that emphasis on small groups, on starting where you are, maybe the question for you listening right now is, what's one small, tangible thing you could do, maybe even this week, in your own circle, your own community, that embodies that spirit? It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it's just getting those initial conversations going with those 4 other committed people. What could that first step look like for you?
A great question to ponder. The potential starts right where you are, so get involved. Join Kenya Wantam No Movement, KWM, at www.wantamnotom.com. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Kenya Wantam No Movement podcast.